Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you 5 essential math problems that frequently stump students on the ACT. For this first problem here, we are given a fraction here with I plus I squared plus I cubed over I cubed plus I to the 4 plus I to the 5. And we're told that I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So there's a couple different ways we could do this. Now one way to do this would be just to do this very methodically and just say, okay, I know that I is equal to the square root of negative 1. That means that I squared is equal just to negative 1. And of course, I cubed is going to be I times I squared. So that's just going to be negative square root negative 1. And then I to the 4 is just going to be I squared times I squared. So negative 1 times negative 1 is just 1. And then I to the 5 is just 1 times I. So it's just equal to I, which is the square root of negative 1. And then we can just work in and substitute in and find an answer. Now the quicker way to do this would be just to kind of factor both the numerator and the denominator. So let's work with the top here on the numerator. So we have a greatest common factor that is I. So I, and then it's going to be times 1 plus I squared. Now remember, I times 1 is I times I is I squared, and I times I squared is going to be I cubed. So that's how we convert from this to this. Now on the denominator here, we can do the same thing. Now we have a greatest common factor of I cubed here, so let's factor out an I cubed. And then it'll just be 1 plus I squared. And again, right, I cubed times 1 is just I cubed times I is just I to the 4, and then I cubed times I squared is just I to the 5. So now what we can do is we can just cancel these, right, because they're the same. And we're left with I over I to the 3. Now this, just using our exponent rules, it's just going to be, I to the 1 minus 3, which is I to the negative 2, which is equal just to 1 over I squared. Now I squared here is negative 1, so this is equal to 1 over negative 1. So our final answer here would be negative 1, or option B. Now this next problem here is actually a pretty difficult problem to solve if you don't know how to approach it. So we're looking for the 410th digit after the decimal point in the repeating decimal 0.2743. Now this means that this decimal just repeats, so 0.2743, 2743, 2743, and then so on infinitely. Now first I'm going to show you all kind of the mathematical property that I'm going to use to solve this problem. So you see here we have our groups of 4 here. So we have digit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's say I wanted to find the 11th digit here. So I know the 11th digit is 4 because I've just drawn it out. But what I would do is I would divide 11 by the 4 digits that we have. So 11 divided by 4, if I'll just do that really quickly on my calculator, is going to be 2.75. So 2.75, also known as 2 3/4. So we discard this number, and all we care about is the fraction here. Now, 3 out of the 4 means that it's the third out of the 4 digits. Now, of course, if this was a whole number, let's say it was 3, then that would be 4 out of 4, so it would be the 4th digit. But this is 3 out of 4, so we know it's going to be the third digit in this, and that is going to be 4. So that's how we solve this. So I'm just going to do this on a much larger scale with the 410. So I'll just do 410 divided by 4, and if I do 410 divided by 4, I get 102.5. Now this is equal just to 102 and 1/2, or 102 and 2/4, because we have those 4 digits. So I know it's going to be the second digit, so our answer here is going to be 7. So our answer here is A. In this next problem, we are going to be using the formula for a circle in a standard XY coordinate plane. Now, I'm just going to go over a quick refresher of the circle formula because many of you might not remember it. So, for starters, the formula for a circle is going to be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And just to remember, h and k is an ordered pair, x and y, that is the center of the circle, and then r is the radius of the circle. Now, in this case, we have the center at x equals negative 3, or h equals negative 3 for the center of the circle. So it'll be x minus negative 3, and then it's going to be y minus the y value of the center, so y minus 6 squared. And that is equal to the radius squared, which is going to be 6 squared. So just reorganizing this and solving it, right, it's just going to be x plus 3 squared, right? If we subtract a negative, we have a positive. And then y minus 6 squared, and that's equal to 36. So that is going to be option C. For this next problem here, we are going to have to create some equations. So we're told the length of a rectangle is 7 inches longer than the width, and then the perimeter of the rectangle is 98 inches. And we're asked to find the length of the rectangle. So we know that the length of the rectangle is 7 inches longer than the width, so we can say the length is equal to the width plus 7. And then we know the perimeter is 98 inches. Now just a reminder, everyone, with perimeter, right, we have a rectangle. This is the width, this is the width, this is the length, this is the length. So the perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Now I'm going to replace the p-value there with 98 because we know the perimeter is 98, and that is equal to 2 times the length. Now I'm going to do a little bit of moving around here for this first equation. The L is equal to W plus 7. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, and this is just going to basically reduce a step for me. I'm just going to be able to save myself a little bit of work. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, and I'm going to get L minus 7 is equal to W. So the width is equal to the length minus 7. So now I can substitute in L minus 7 for this width here. So I'm going to get 2 times L minus 7. So I know that 98 is equal to 2 times the length. Now just multiplying through here, so plus 2L, and then 2 times negative 7 is minus 14. Now I'm going to add 14 to both sides. So I'll get 112 is equal to, and then just combine the two L's. So I'll get 112 is equal to 4L. And then just dividing both sides by 4 here, I get 28 is equal to L, or L is equal to 28 inches. So that is going to be option D. Now this next problem is fairly wordy, but it can be done quite quickly if you know where to begin. So we're told that during spring break, we have 40% of college students in a class going to Florida, and then out of those, 30% of those went to an amusement park, and then out of those who went to the amusement park, 70% went on a roller coaster, and then we're told that 21 people went on the roller coaster, and we want to find how many people were in the original class. So we have a starting group here. So these are the people in the class, so I'm going to call this S, and then I know that 40%, so 40%, remember, is equal to 0.4 in decimal form. 0.4 went to Florida, and then out of those, 30% went to an amusement park. So I'm just going to call this A for amusement park. So we're told that 30% did that, so that's 0.3. And then out of those, 70% went on a roller coaster. So I'm going to call that R for roller coaster, and 0.7 for 70%. So what I could do is, I know we have 21 people going on a roller coaster, is I could just do 21 divided by 0.7, and then divided by 0.3, and then divided by 0.4, and that'll get me back up to the original starting class. Now, the other thing that I could do here is I could just multiply 0.4 times 0.3 times 0.7. And if I do this, I get 0.084. And then I'll just divide those 21 students we had on the roller coaster by 0.084, and I will get 250 students. So that is going to be option C. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and let me know in the comments or by emailing me if you have any questions. And then my email and my link for one-on-one tutoring is in the video description.